right?
Right.
So that's a nice start. So you grew up in Germany and you started to study photography?
In Munich.
In Munich.
Yeah, for 2 years. There was a very conservative kind of school, and I learned like in the first year like just 5x4 inch like me large format camera and only black and white, and in the second year became more relaxed, but it was very, very conservative.
How old were you when you started to?
20.
You were 20. So
22 years.
basically the first studies you did was about photography. So you knew you wanted to be a photographer, but did you know at the time which kind of photographer you wanted to be?
No, not really. Well, I knew I had an extreme pleasure doing so. It was actually beforehand. When I finished my normal school at 16, I was a bow maker for violins. You know, the bows, and I had an allergic reaction to the dust from the wood after 1 year. And I went with my cousin. The doctor sent me on an air change because my asthma became really bad. And my cousin was 2 years older and studied medicine. He was a very enthusiastic hobby photographer. And we went to Tuscany, and we were camping. And every time the sun was going down, we haven't found the camping ground yet, and put the tent up. And he always stopped the car in the middle of nowhere, and seeing the sun was coming down. It was springtime, and he said, you know, put the tripod up and take a picture. And I thought, this is so boring. What the hell are you doing? You know? I don't want to put the tent up when it's dark. And went on for a couple of days, and then I thought, let's have a look at this thing. And I grabbed it, looked through it, and I looked through this square thing, and I thought, I want to be a photographer. It was the first time I thought, I think it was when I was 18, it was the first time I thought I actively or visibly seen something, instead of just you walking around with your eyes but don't really see anything. But that helped me to really focus seeing something. And that's when I wanted to, I knew I wanted to travel and see things and meet people, and that's what I wanted to do. In a way, that's what I still do.
Did you have examples in mind at the time, like famous photographers you wanted to refer to, or dreamed about being like them, or something like that?
No, I was very influenced by National Geographic. Okay. And sort of in Germany there's a magazine called Geo, and sort of travel photography, and that I really like that, and sort of nature photography,
which you did not do that often until recently, actually.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So at some point, you're at that time you're studying, you're in a photography school.
Yeah.
And when do you think you start to conceive the shape of your work? Is it was there a sort of idea behind that, or did it just happen like that, like without even you knowing?
No, first you kind of are confronted of what kind of technique you have, you know, what kind of cameras you use, and after a while you kind of notice what's more comfortable within you, and once you establish that, what suits you, which became a 35mm camera pretty quickly, instead of the big format, the big technical aspects, and the kind of very static thing. We had these different exercises to be done, and even that I was very, very shy. I sensed I have a sort of I'm able to see, in a way, the aura of someone. Maybe that sounds even weird, but that I have a capacity extremely quickly to do a good portrait.
So this, you had the feeling you could do a good portrait, or
yeah,
take something from someone, but that was like when you were still at school, or was it after that?
In a way, still at school, or even, you know, how to make a interesting composition, or how to make a picture work. I felt I was, you know, sort of better than the other students.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's true though. That was the benchmark, what everybody else was doing, and they, you know, and I was like a dilettante in a way, and they all knew about the technical things, and they knew about photographers and artists, and you know, I'm coming from the countryside, had no idea from anything. You know, my education was purely television and football, nothing else. And my family.